Navales, Ingrid Cortez versus Ashley Violago, Enzo Ruan. Court 3, Enzo Ruan versus Ingrid Cortez and Irving Navales. Court 3, Ashley Violago, Enzo Ruan. Please proceed to the court.
Irving. I-R, parang si Kyrie Irving. Walang V.
Ding! Ding, ding! First game niyo? Second game?
Third game.
Kayo? Third game niyo na? Okay na. Okay na kayo sa rules. Wala na kayo tanong.
May timer pa rin, 15.
15 minutes. One or two?
Ay,
Service over. Service over.
Okay. Muli sa magandang tanghali sa inyo lahat. So, we're back in our game. Nagkaroon lang tayo ng technical errors but still ongoing our game for today. It's a battle for Violago on Ruan from Team Pub versus Cortez and Resilio. Tama ba? Here we go. With the all 0-0 ang ating standing. Let's hear what's the real score for this game.
1-0-1!
With a 1-0-1 service by this one. Hindi natin nakuha ang information nila. But still, tuloy-tuloy ang ating game for today. Pavilion.
2-0-1!
Service and receive. And then back to his teammate, her teammate. Alamin lang natin yung pangalan nila pareho.
2-0-2!
With a 2-0-2. Receive. Take it slowly para pumasok. And that's gonna be a good point. Change serve tayo.
0-2-1!
With a 0-2-1. And then smash it all.
8-8-3.
1-2-1!
3-5-3. Pasulong po ang nilalabas na. 8-8-1-5-2-7. Pasulong po. NCS 5686.
Here we go.
Pasulong po ang nilalabas na.
Inaalabla po natin yung mga pangalan nila for this game.
2-2-1!
With a 2-2-1 ang ating standing for today. Back to our live again, mga kaibigan. Pasensya na pa nagkaroon tayo ng technical errors kanina. Pero ngayon, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating game for today. With a all 2 ang ating score.
3-2-2!
With a 3-2-2. Receive.
4-2-2!
Okay, I know their name na. Para sa kupunan ng pavilion.
5-2-2!
The 5-2-2 service by this guy. Kasi by Enzo. Back to Enzo again. Nagawan pa ng paraan ni Enzo doon. With the 5-2-2. With the errors
2-5-1.
of this guy. Service by Enzo. Received by one. And that's gonna be a change serve.
Second serve!
The second serve tayo para kay Violago.
2-5-2!
The 2-5-2 are standing for this game. Here we go to Violago. Back to this one. And here we go. Turnover. Bola tayo na kupunan ng kabila.
5-2-1!
The 5-2-1. Shoutout po sa ating 14 viewers for today.
Wrong court.
Sa wrong court daw po ang tinawag ng ating referee for this game.
5-2-2!
5-2-2 are standing for this game. Receive then smash it off. And that's gonna be a good point. Turnover tayo. 2-5-1 ang standing Enzo. Kasi pa and it is an outside.
3-5-1!
The 3-5-1. Nakikita ko ulit yung pangalan nila. Yung buong pangalan. Pwede mo nakita. Oh, wala. Ano yun?
3-5-2!
Court 1, Captain Cabrera.
5-3-1.
Versus Violago and Brian. Court 1.
Six, three, one.
Okay. And there you go. That's a good smash para kay Enzo. Service by Ingrid.
6-3-2.
With a 6-3-2. Received by Ashley. And that's gonna be a good serve. Para kay Rod.
7-3-2.
With a 7-3-2. Our standing. Back to puntos para sa kapunan ng pavilion. Our official score
3-7-1.
with a 3-7-1 service by Ashley, received by Rod, back to Ingrid, and that's gonna be an inside turnover.
3-7-2.
The 3-7-2 our standing. To Ingrid, to Enzo. It's a turnover. Bola tayo ng kapunan ng kabila. Ng Santo Niño Ball Club.
7-3-1.
Service by Rod. To Ashley. To Rod again. To Enzo. To Ingrid. And that's gonna be an error for Ashley.
8-3-1.
With that 8-3-1. Medyo
9-3-1.
mainit-init na lalo ang panahon. With the 9-3-1. To Ingrid. Enzo. Puntos pala tayo doon, mga kaibigan.
10-3-1.
With a 10-3-1 match point. Makakabawi ba ang pavilion here? And that's gonna be a good shot para kay Enzo. Binabawian niya. The 10-3-2. Service Ingrid. This is by Ashley. Back to Ingrid. Ginawa ng paraan. Pababa. And that's gonna be a good game. Congratulations to Santo Niño Pickleball Club yata to. Sacramento yata to. Tama ba? Congratulations to our winner. Ayun. Rod Basilio and Ingrid Cortez. Congratulations Santo Niño Pickleball Club. Mix Division. So mamaya, abangan pa natin ang iba pang game for today. Chill lang kayo dyan. Stay tuned. Shoutout sa ating 15 viewers. Shoutout po kay Lucky, Luis Emmanuel Macaspak, at kay Yulison Charles Chon Certeza. Shoutout sa iyo, Chon. Aking classmate. Classmate saan? There we go. Stay tuned mga kaibigan. Mamaya matutunghayin niyo pa ang iba't iba pa nating game for today. From the intermediate to mid up to high. Ang may init na laban ngayong araw ng linggo dito sa The Pub Paddle Up, Bulacan. Sa pangunayan ng ating Kapmok Violago at Konsi Ian Velasco. Once again, welcome to Summer Pickleball League, headed by Kapmok Violago and Konsi Ian Velasco. Once again, my name is Pao. Enjoy the rest of the day. Magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat.
Ay, 252. Kasunod ko may lalabas. Court 2. Israel Mariano, Yanitan versus Eli Antonio Wari Sumpang. Court 2. Israel Mariano, Yanitan versus Eli Antonio Wari Sumpang. Court 3, Nico Santos. Court 3. Court 3, Nico Santos, Grace Gonzalez versus Cap Gama, Cap Grace. Court 3, Nico Santos, Grace Gonzalez versus Cap Gama, Cap Grace. Court 4, James Castillo, Sheila Austria versus Brunei and Ivan Navarro. Court 4, James Castillo, Sheila Austria versus Brunei and Ivan Navarro. Court 5. Court 5. Lester Bo, Edwin Enriquez versus Kenneth Carillo, John Ernest Carillo. Owner of vehicle UIA 252, Innova. Owner of vehicle UIA 252, Innova, white. Pakisuyo po. Maraming salamat. Owner of Innova, white, UIA 252. Makikisuyo po. Owner of UIA 252, Innova, white, makikisuyo po. Paging owner of UIA 252, Innova, white, makikisuyo po ng sasakyan. Court number 6, Ivan Arguelles, Christine Rose Amin versus Christian Alcantara, Joe Minay. 6. Court 4. Troy. Court 6. Court 6, Ivan Arguelles, Christine Rose Amin versus Christian Alcantara, Joy Minay.
Alright, moving on to our mixed division.
002.
With a 002. Service by Grace, received by Cap Richard. And that's gonna be... Just wait for a while. 002 ang ating standing.
002.
With a 002 service by Grace. There we go. 001.
102.
102 ang ating standing. Service by Grace.
102.
The 102 received by another Grace. To a Grace. Back to Cap Goma. To Grace. And that's gonna be an outside. Shoutout po sa ating mga manonood dyan. Here we go. That's an outside service para kay Cap Richard.
1-0-2.
Service by Cap Grace. Oh no.
Side out.
Side out. Turnover. The 1-0-1. Service by Nico. This is by Richard. Back to Grace. To Richard with a smash. And that's gonna be an out. Change serve tayo. Service by Grace. Receive by another Grace. Back to Grace again. To Cap Richard with a smash. Cap Richard again with a smash. Cap Richard again with a smash again. Kinalmahan niya lang doon. Pero nandito Cap Richard mo. Napakatibay talaga ni Cap Richard. Cap Richard ang dumiskarte para makuha nila ang turnover ng bola. Kaya service na to ngayon. Receive by Nico. Back to Cap Grace. And that's gonna be an error for Cap Grace. Change serve tayo.
0-1-2.
Ito na ang paraan para makapuntos sila. Receive by Grace. Receive by another Grace. There you go. Turnover again. With a 1-0-1. Service by Nico. Receive by Cap Richard. Receive by Grace. To Cap Richard again. And that's gonna be an error. Nagkaroon pa ng miscommunication doon. Nagkailangan pa ang Cap Grace and Cap Richard doon. With a 1-0-1 still standing. The 1-0-2.
2-0-2.
With a 2-0-2 ang ating standing. Receive by Cap Richard. Receive by Grace. To Cap Grace. To Grace again. Another Grace. Grace to Grace. Gracefully ang kanilang palo doon. There you go. Turnover.
0-2-1.
With the 0-2-1 service by Cap Richard. Received by Grace. To Cap Richard again. And that's gonna be an outside para kay Cap Richard. Change serve tayo. Serve ni Cap Grace. Received by Nico. To Cap Grace. Not over. Turnover. With a 2-0-1. Receive by Cap Richard. Down to Nico. Back to Cap Grace. To Grace again. Napaka-graceful ng palo doon ni Grace Tabuada Portento. Change serve tayo. Service tayo ni Nico. Receive by Grace. Back to Nico again. And there you go. Turnover. Medyo hirap sila makapuntos dito. And let's see. Let's find out. Service by Richard. Receive by Grace. Another Grace to Nico. With a smash by Nico. Change serve tayo. Medyo pinulikat siya doon. Good ball pa rin. There you go. Boy pa rin to Nico. To Cap Richard. And that's gonna be a point para sa kupunan ni Nico and Grace with a 3-0-1.
2-0-1.
Receive by Cap Richard to Grace. To another Grace. Service again by Grace.
3-0-1.
Grace Gonzalez. Receive by Grace. And a good smash para kay Cap Richard.
3-0.
Cap Goma mo rito. Receive error. There we go.
4-0-2.
With a 4-0-2. Mahaba-haba pa ito. Kaya pang habulin yan. Receive by Nico.
Side out.
It's an side out para kay Nico. Turnover tayo. Service na tayo ni Cap Goma. Cap Goma received by Grace. And that's gonna be a point. Unang puntos para sa kupunan ni Cap Goma and Cap Grace. With a 1-4-1. Service again by Cap Goma. Received by Nico. And that's gonna be another point para sa kupunan nila Cap Goma at
2, 4,
Cap
1.
Grace to rule the court. They ruled the court for this game with a 4-2. And here we go. Nico to Grace. Smash by Grace to Cap Richard, and that's turnover.
Second serve.
Error again. Babawi daw dito si Cap Grace. Receive by Nico. And there you go. Si Konsi. Napakagandang laban to.
3, 4, 2.
With a 3-4-2. Kabiyak lang. Receive by Grace. To Cap Goma to Grace Santos. To Cap Goma again. Grabe, pwestuhan niya ang gitna kay Cap Goma. Great smasher ang atake ni Cap Goma doon. Service again by Grace. To Cap Grace to Santos. And that's gonna be another point para kay Cap Grace. There you go.
4, 4, 1.
Turnover pala tayo mga kaibigan. Medyo nalito. And another point with a 5-4-1.
Five, 4, 1.
And a 5-4-1. Service by Grace Santos. Receive by Grace. To Grace Santos sa Cap Goma. Habol tayo doon. Ang galing ng diskarta ni Cap Goma doon. From slow to smash.
5, 4, 2.
And a 5-4-2. Change serve. Serve by Nico Gonzalez. Receive by Grace Santos. To Cap Grace. To Grace Santos again. To Cap Grace. And there you go. Smash it again by Cap Goma. Napapakita dito ang great smash ni Cap Goma doon. Kitang-kita ang instant replay para kay Cap Goma. Ito yatid sa inyo ni Cap, Mok, Violago at Konsi Ian Velasco. Here we go. Our official score. The 5-4. Cap Goma to Nico. Nakuha na ng paraan ni Nico Gonzalez doon. Turnover tayo ng bola.
5, 4, 1.
With a 5-4-1. Service by Nico Gonzalez to Cap Goma. And that's gonna be an outside para kay Cap Goma. Puntos ulit sa kupunan nila Nico Gonzalez at Grace Santos. Service again by Nico. Receive by Grace. To Grace Santos. To Grace Santos again. And side out. Service again Grace Santos. Receive by Cap Goma. Receive again by Cap. Ay Grace Santos pala yun. And that's gonna be a turnover. Nakitaan ang butas ni Cap Grace sa kabilang kupunan. Kaya turnover tayo. To Cap Grace. To Nico Gonzalez. To Cap Grace. To Nico Gonzalez. To Cap Goma. To Nico Gonzalez again with the smash. Habol pa ba? Yun lang. Tamang pwesto, tamang paraan ang kailangan, pero ang gandang diskarte. Tignan nyo tong mabuti.
4, 6, 2.
The 4-6-2 are standing. Here we go.
5, 6, 2.
With a 5-6-2 are standing for this game. There you go. Cap Goma to Grace. To Cap Grace.